Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live spotlight session. We're really excited to have you here with us if you're watching live or on demand. And today we are going to be diving into a powerful but often overlooked tool. And this is something that can significantly boost your exam performance, and that's exam verbs. To help me unpack this, I am joined by Martin Moabia, who is an Education Support Manager here at ACCA. Thank you, Martin. Great to have you as always.
Thank you so much, Isabel. It's a pleasure to be here. And as Isabel mentioned, I work in the student support team here at ACCA, and I've also been an ACCA student myself. So I understand firsthand the rigor of this qualification. So welcome on board, everyone, if you're joining us live or if you're watching this on demand a little later on, and looking forward to share some great insights with you. Now, for those of you who are ACCA students, let me start with something that might sound familiar to you. Sometimes you study hard, you know the content, but you still don't score as well as you were expecting to. Does that sound familiar? Now, there is a number of reasons that this could be happening. And one of the most consistent areas of feedback from our examining team is that students often don't answer the question that was actually asked. And I say this as someone who's been through the ACCA qualification myself. I know how tempting it is to want to answer the question that you're either comfortable with or you wish was asked, rather than the one that's actually been asked. And that's the focus, really, of this discussion today, Isabel.
Thanks, Martin. And I that's so relatable. And I think that's why it's always so good talking to you, because I know you have that first-hand experience of sitting in ACCA exams. So let's look at this in a bit more detail then. So Martin, how do exam verbs come into play here?
Yeah, that's a great question. So every exam question contains a command verb, like list, discuss, evaluate, compare, and so on. And you'll find this in the strategic professional exams, as well as the constructed response questions of the applied skills exams. Now, these verbs are not just decorative, yeah? These verbs tell you exactly what the examiner expects to see in your response. And we're just gonna jump in and look at a real example from the practice platform and have a look at a past SBL question. Now, this is question task 2 of the September-December 2024 SBL exam. Part A asked students to prepare a report for the CFO, which evaluates how the value created from the food delivery proposal would be reported in the 6 capitals of BIGO's integrated report. Now, can you think of what exam verbs are in this particular question? Just take a moment to think through this question. Prepare a report for the CFO, which evaluates how the value created from the food delivery proposal would be reported in the 6 capitals of the organization. So there are 2 things to unpack here. The first thing is, the first section says, prepare a report for the CFO. So you need to think about the format of the report. You need to think about the structure of the report. You also need to think about the tone that you're going to use when you're writing to senior management. The second part to unpack is the verb evaluate, okay? So that means you're expected to weigh up the pros and cons, you're expected to make judgments, and obviously you need to support them with evidence. So what that means is that your response for this question would go a little deeper than just a description or basically an explanation.
I think that's really useful, bringing up that real example, Martin. But how can students know what each verb actually requires?
Now, that's where our exam verb explainer videos come in. So at this stage, I must admit that I've had to resit some of my ACCA exams. It hasn't been a smooth sail, and I'm sure a lot of students also resonate with that. And looking back, I think not understanding the exam verb certainly must have contributed to those receipts. But luckily, we are here to ensure that you know this in advance and you don't have to go through that agony. So we've created short, focused videos that break down the most commonly used exam verbs. Each video explains what the verb means. It explains what kind of response is required, and also gives you examples where applicable. So let's take a moment now to watch a sample explainer video for the verb evaluate, which has been used in the question that we have just had a look at from SBL.
Bear with me, Martin. I'm just trying to
exam questions.
bring up the video.
To evaluate means to judge the value or effectiveness of something for a specific purpose. This involves reviewing the material by considering whether it is good or bad, identifying advantages and disadvantages, as well as risks and opportunities. Your evaluation should present a balanced assessment, supported by appropriate evidence from the scenario. Be sure to provide a conclusion based on your evaluation and, if required, offer a recommendation for action.
So I think those are really helpful, and I love how short and condensed they are because they're just packed full of a lot of information. But you know, it's quite easy to dip in and out of them. So based on that, I can see how knowing the difference between, say, describe and evaluate can completely change how you approach a question. Is that your experience, Martin?
Yeah, exactly. And I must say that understanding these verbs is not just a nice to have. It's actually an essential exam strategy. And I'll give you a few reasons why this is the case. So when you understand what the verb is asking and how you need to respond to it, it helps you to interpret the question correctly. Because obviously, if you miss what the question is asking, you're already facing the wrong direction. Secondly, it helps you to structure your answer effectively. So in the case of this example for evaluate, you would then give the pros and cons. You would bring in supporting information from the question scenario. You would probably make a recommendation based on your evaluation. So all that helps you to understand how to structure your answer to be able to score the marks that are available for that particular question. Thirdly, it helps you demonstrate the depth of understanding that the examiner is looking for. So these verbs have different depths of understanding. Some of them will be, if you're asked to list, that's basically itemizing the components of whatever it is you're discussing, as opposed to if you're asked to evaluate or analyze, which requires a deeper level of information analysis and all. So understanding the verb helps you to demonstrate that depth of understanding, and that's how you are able to score the marks that are available. So ultimately, this can be the difference between, a pass and a fail.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good summary. Let me just summarize even more quickly. So they help you interpret the question correctly, structure your answer effectively, and demonstrate the depth of understanding that the examiners are looking for. So, I mean, I think that just sums up how useful these videos are going to be. So, Martin, thank you so much for sharing your insights. And I think before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask you, well, where the students can find these videos, and then maybe we can finish with a bit of final advice for students who are preparing for their exams.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've made these videos accessible and public. Anyone can access them. They are on this YouTube channel that you're using to stream this session. If you navigate to the playlists section of this YouTube channel, you will find an exam verbs playlist, and there are 22 videos in that playlist addressing the 22 commonly used verbs. Now, we've even made it a bit more simpler. We've put that link in the description of this particular video. So head over to the description, you'll find the link, and you'll access that link. Now, in terms of practical advice, to wrap it up, I would say don't underestimate the power of reading the question carefully and decoding the verb, because it may look like a small shift, but it's a small shift that can lead to big results. Now, remember, practice brings you closer to perfection. We say perfect practice makes perfect. So make the practice platform your friend, use it to get familiar with the question formats, and use these questions to practice applying these verbs. Yeah, so use your practice time to familiarize yourself with the verbs and how you need to respond to the question with each verb. And that puts you in a very good position in terms of your exam preparation.
Amazing. What a good place to end. Everyone who, if you're watching live, I've just popped the playlist link into the chat there. But as a reminder, the link will be in the video description, and it's hosted on the student YouTube channel, which you're using to watch this right now. Thank you so much, Martin. That's been a really useful overview, and I hope the students watching will go and feel motivated to get more familiar with ACCA exam verbs, because like we said, they really can help you boost your exam prep and hopefully help you achieve extra marks as well. So thank you, Martin. Thank you to everyone who's watched. I think all is left to say is take care. Good luck with your study plans and your preparation for your next ACCA exam. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.